Patricia.
And I'm Magdelina.
Today we are going to discuss on how the current Malaysian curriculum issues have impacted the process of attaining the national aspirations. Alright, before going in depth into the issues and how they impact the process of attaining our national aspirations, I'm going to briefly explain what are the national aspirations of our country, which is Malaysia. Okay, do you know how many national aspirations that we have?
Five. Yeah, let's learn about it.
Yes, we have 5 national aspirations, which are access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency. Okay, so these aspirations are actually the outcomes that Malaysia wants to achieve for the Malaysian education system. Alright, so the first aspiration just now is access. Alright, so access is for the children. Every child deserves equal access to education. So from preschool to upper secondary school by 2020, this year. Alright, so the second one is quality, where all children will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education that can place Malaysia in the top 3 countries in international assessment, which are TIMSS, TIMSS, and PISA. So currently, TIMSS and PISA testing for literacy, mathematics, and science only. Alright, and the third one, aspiration, which is equity. It aims to halve the current urban-rural, the socio-economic and gender achievement gaps by 2020 as well. And the fourth one, unity, where schools are one of the agents to foster unity through interaction with individuals from a range of socio-economic, religious and ethnic backgrounds. Students learn to understand, accept and embrace differences. As we know that our country has multiracial and different culture, right? And the last one is efficiency, where the government will further maximize student outcomes within the current budget levels. Okay? Right. So, what are the issues that we have in our current Malaysian education?
Oh, well, before discussing further about the issues that influence the Malaysian education curriculum, let us actually relate it to the aspiration. Okay, because the issues are much related to the aspiration. And before that, I would like to ask, do you know what does it mean by literacy?
Literacy, it has something to do with reading and writing, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I don't have like a proper definition of that, I think, from scholars or somewhere you read.
Okay, right. You're right. Okay, so well, literacy simply means the ability to read and write, and it encompasses a complex set of abilities to actually understand and use the dominant symbols of a culture for personal and community development. Okay, so these dominant symbols are known as the language use. Okay, such as the alphabets, Jawi, Chinese writings. Those are the dominant symbols that involves people's literacy. And this literacy is stated in the 4th shift in the Malaysian education blueprint, which is to encourage people to be proficient in both Bahasa Malaysia and English. And now, going into the issue, well, literacy is one of the issues in the implementation of Malaysian's education curriculum. First of all, People in the rural area are less exposed to resources, medias, reading and writing materials, so this actually caused them to have less opportunity to practice and improve their literacy. This is due to the geographical factors as well, because in the rural area, they do not have the access to these learning materials, because sometimes it's very hard to send those materials from the urban areas and provide it to those schools in the rural areas. For example, some villages do not have the access to internet. They have no true road to go to the urban areas, to the cities, to actually purchase, to search for any materials that is suitable for their children's learning needs. They do not have internet, they do not have any technologies in the rural areas for them to search online for those materials. So, people in the rural area actually, they do not have the opportunity to search and to learn on their own. Okay? Unlike the people in the urban areas, they can actually purchase this at the bookshops, can easily download it from the internet, and they also have access to tuition centers. Extra classes are being organized by the non-governmental organizations. So when people cannot learn on their own to improve, this means that more efforts have to be put by the teachers to teach them, because people in the rural areas rely mostly on the teachers, because they do not have the opportunity to actually learn on their own at home. Okay, so this also actually cause the teacher to have to work more, to put more efforts, as people do not have any other alternatives. And then, based on my reading, literacy also has become the issue in the implementation of Malaysia, because people are taught to pass their examination. Why is it so? Okay, this is due to the fact that the Malaysian education system is exam oriented, where people learn for the sake of passing their exam. So in terms of essay writing, people are taught to write limitedly, to just for the sake of completing that paper, so that it won't be blank and they can get at least minimum marks just to pass the exam. And then while low achievers or slow learners are required to gain at least the minimum marks, the minimum passing marks, so students' ability is limited to performing short answered questions, but unable to do inference and building connections among texts when they read something outside the school, not just in the school. Okay? Alright, therefore, this is why literacy becomes an issue.
So, alright. So, as you know, one of the aspirations of the education is now that I mentioned is to create students that are at least operationally proficient in both Malay language and English language. So, the impacts of if our people actually illiterate in these two languages is one, we will actually face difficulties in achieving the 5 aspirations that I have mentioned just now in the grouping, which is, okay, for example, in quality, our country actually aims to be in the top 3 countries, right, in TIMSS and visa. So if our people are illiterate, that they cannot even read, they cannot even write, so how do they actually want to participate in the TIMSS and visa? and actually gain good results from the teams in PISA. So it will be difficult for Malaysia to be in the top third countries in teams and PISA. So that is why the government established the second aspiration, the quality, because in order to achieve the aspiration, the children have to be able to read and write first. And actually, in the process of attaining this aspiration, we are actually progressing towards the aspiration, which Malaysia actually, they improve the rank and performances in PISA. Alright, so our means to say that our ranks, they have increased to better ones. You know? And then another issue that you have mentioned just now is pupils in the rural area are less exposed to resources, right? And cause them to have less opportunity to practice and improve their literacy. So how this issue has impacts on the education system is through the establishment the third aspiration, which is, can you remember?
Third aspiration will be
Starts from E. Equity, yes. The government aims to reduce the achievement gaps by 50% or half between the urban and rural area by 2020. And apart from that, to achieve the national aspirations, the government actually, they provide scholarship to the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia students, SPM students, to further their study in degrees. So regardless what their background, whether they're from the rural area or not, but they must have, you know, the qualification to attain the scholarship. So this scholarship is called National Degree Program Scholarship. Alright. So, alright. Are there any other issue in implementing this curriculum in Malaysia?
Oh yes, another issue is regarding the access, yes, to gaining knowledge. Okay, all right. On the other hand, access is also stated in the 5 aspirations of the Malaysian education system, in which it aims to increase the enrollment of peoples from different backgrounds. However, it is considered as one of the issues in the implementation of Malaysia's education curriculum because Malaysia is still experiencing a big gap in terms of access towards knowledge between the children in the rural area and those in the urban areas. Okay, the implementation of Malaysia's education curriculum is affected by the geographical factors in different areas in the country. Schools located in the remote areas are difficult to be reached out by both teachers and pupils. Alright. In the remote areas, the access to school is limited because there is no true road from certain part of areas to the school areas. So, for example, peoples from different villages in the interior parts of Sarawak, specifically Serian, okay, they will have to walk through the thick jungle for 10 kilometers to the nearest school. Okay, this has caused most of the indigenous children to be demotivated to go to school due to the long journey and the unsafe environment on their way to school. Okay, besides, in terms of this access, the socio-economic factor also influence the implementation of the curriculum. Okay, the limited access to job vacancies in the interior area has caused many parents to be jobless, and they only have to rely on agricultural product to actually survive, to earn for their living. Therefore, most of the families in the interior areas are experiencing poverty and are able to pay for the school fees. Of course, in Malaysia, we have free education, but we still have to pay for our PIBG fees, our exercise books, stationeries, and school uniforms. Due to this problem, many parents decided not to send their children to school because they cannot afford to actually buy these things and provide these things for the children. Okay. Furthermore, there are also schools in the interior area of not just Sarawak but Sabah, as well as in some of the areas in the West Malaysia. They are facing inadequate and unsatisfactory infrastructure to cater pupils' learning. Okay. This is because it is very hard to send teaching materials and construction materials to repair those defective classrooms, which are unsafe for the pupils' learning. Okay. However, there are the progress of repairing is done. It is there and it's going on, but it is slow because of the horrible condition of the roads there. That is why it's very hard to send all those materials to the rural areas. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the part of like different geographical area, is it? Just different geographical area, social, economic factor. But I'm going to add like a few. For example, citizenship issue. That I think that's also an issue, one of the issues regarding access of the children to education. So like citizenship issue, because like the pupils that are the children that are they don't have a proper documentation and everything, they have limited access to education because they are considered undocumented children. And not only that, I think like special needs children also have like very hard access to education because there is not enough facilities, for example, and also what else? Not enough to cater to their needs. Aids, teaching aids and stuff. So for me, these issues help in giving positive impact to our national aspiration, because from this issue itself, it stems from this issue. There are policies that are being implemented to ensure that issue regarding access to education can be overcome, and also to ensure that national aspirations in terms of access also are achieved. So one of the policies that I have read would be the zero reject policy. Have you heard of it? Yes. Zero reject policy that was implemented in the early year of 2019. Actually, it's quite new. So, according to the article that I have read from News Straits Times, the policy, which will be rolled out in stages, actually aims to ensure that all children in the country, including those that I mentioned just now with special needs and also undocumented children, will have access to education. Therefore, in order to do that, one of the ways the ministry has implemented is to have it's called early intervention program. From that program, they can observe and taking sponsor data, something about that, to find ways to help solve the issue itself. So early intervention program is that they look at which special need children that will come into the school and everything, and how to cater to their needs and all. So early intervention program is important so that they know what they need to do before the children come to the school. So that it would reduce the impact of the students' disability. For instance, and help to influence them from willingness to participate in the teaching and learning process in school, because like it impact the disability impact their willingness, right? So when the ministry, the schools cater to their needs, they'll be more willing to go to school. So yes, there's actually result from that policy itself. The result of the implementation can be seen from the article that I've read from the Star Online. This article is from last year actually. According to the article, more students enrolled under zero reject policy. A total of like 12,000 plus special needs students have enrolled at national schools since the Education Ministry launched the zero reject policy in January of 2019. So there had been a rise of 50.5% in enrollment of special education needs pupils compared to 9.6%, only 9.6% in 2013. So from 9.6 to 50.5%. So from there you can see that it helped in achieving the national aspiration in terms of the access. So another strategy that I think can impact our national aspirations in a positive way is dropout prevention initiative by the Malaysian government as well for the disadvantaged indigenous orang asli people in rural villages of Peninsular Malaysia. So there's a lot of strategy. I'm just saying like this is one of the strategies. So this strategy is one of the efforts of improving the quality of education for elementary school of orang asli children. Because as you can see, like from what I've read, they only go to school until year 6, and after that they will, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then after that they will like proceed to activities or daily life activities that help them in a way to get like food, money,
To get some income.
yes, to get some income. So there are from this program there are outreach programs and in-service courses for teachers in orang asli schools. Do you know what is outreach program?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
about
I
that.
was about to share. So outreach program is like this. Outreach program and in-service courses for teachers is to help cater to the issue pertaining to the access and education, as Patricia has mentioned this before. So the outreach programs are programs that aim to improve orang asli students' basic literacy skills actually, and enhance their teachers' skill in teaching them, not only the students but this program cater to the teachers as well. So one of the program is called Asli Penan Curriculum, or KAP, and it is based on the belief that a curriculum that takes into considerations their social cultural needs, number 1, experience, number 2, and their norms as well, will attract them to go to school. So there's a lot of how to say, curriculum. There's like Kedah, second, right? But this is among the curriculum that I want to share with both of you. So, and from the evaluation that has been done on the curriculum, the Asli Penan curriculum, generally it has been found that there was an improvement in the number of students being able to acquire skills in the 3R, and the attendance rate improved. So, but this one is like from the 2009 articles, and then from this, in my opinion, like most of the things that I have said is more to positive impacts on the national aspiration, because in my opinion, as long as the stakeholders are able to recognize the issues in the curriculum. We are able to recognize, for example, geographical citizenship issues and socioeconomic factors, and also the issues pertaining to literacy as well just now. As long as they are able to recognize the issue in curriculum implementation with proper research done by people that are selected and adequate resources to conduct the research, it can impact the process of attaining the national aspirations in a positive way. So, yeah, that's all.
So, like we have discussed, there are actually two issues
Yes.
in the curriculum development or implementation in our country, which are literacy and access.
Yes.
So, I think that's all, and it's a very fruitful discussion that we have today.
Yes, I agree.
So hopefully we have like gathered more positive impacts
Yes.
in the implementation of curriculum
To the national aspirations.
And I hope the three of us can actually, benefit from these sharings and discussions, so that one day when we are already teachers, we can actually, put the efforts in implementing the curriculum, as well as to, help the children in the rural areas as well as the urban areas to actually achieve the national aspiration.
Thank you, Magdelina, and thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thanks.